we have a very volatile situation on our hands. Today's topic is pretty explosive. We're considering the top 5 most powerful explosions in Pokemon. So let's approach this topic very cautiously, and without further ado, let's get into the content. So Explosion has one of the highest base powers in the game of any move. It's high risk, high reward because whoever uses it loses all of their health and faints. It's pretty much the ultimate last resort. Apart from maybe last resort, I mean it's in the name, but still, Explosion is up there. It doesn't see too much competitive use because obviously losing a Pokemon is a big penalty to pay, but there are certain situations when it is useful, and that's mainly relegated to Stealth Rock setters because you can explode before the opponent has a chance to Rapid Spin or defog away the hazards that you've just set up. But some Pokemon just like to use Explosion for the pure damage that it can cause, and we'll be looking at some of them today, some of the most powerful explosions in the entire game. So without further ado, let's get on with the countdown. So in at number 5, the 5th most powerful explosion is a little known and definitely underused and underutilized Pokemon in Landorus-Therian. Not sure if you guys have heard of this one, but it does make this list, so at least it's got one accolade going for it. It's actually the Pokemon with the second highest attack stat that learns Explosion, the first being Mega Diancie, which itself doesn't make this list because Mega Diancie cannot hold a choice band, meaning that Landorus-Therian's explosions are actually a lot more powerful than Mega Diancie's. Landorus's massive 145 base attack stat ensures that this attack is going to wreak some havoc. The best sets that you could use this on are potentially a Stealth Rocking Landorus with a Focus Sash in certain formats. That can be quite good because you'll manage to keep your rocks up, you'll prevent your opponent from spinning or defogging them away. Or maybe on a more offensive set like Choice Scarf, as it offers you a get out clause if the opponent is getting quite scary with a certain threat. You can just come in, outspeed and explode and do huge damage. Just to put this in context, Explosion is going to be able to KO about 124 Caterpies. I don't know if that helps you visualize it, but that's a lot of Caterpies that you can pop in one go. I'm glad I got the opportunity to talk about this little used Pokemon, but now Landorus-Therian can fade back into obscurity as we move on with the countdown. In at number 4 is going to be a much more well-respected Pokemon in Lickilicky. I think everyone would have put Lickilicky above Landorus-Therian in a number of categories. But yeah, Lickilicky is here with its massive base 85 attack stat. The reason that it makes the list is because actually not many normal types learn Explosion, and getting that same type attack bonus on top of Explosion's already huge power is what gives Lickilicky 4th place in this list. So having Stab is just so important. Also to note, Lickilicky can hold the choice band item, which means that it's going to boost that explosion even further. And for a long time, Lickilicky was actually the most powerful explosion user in the game. In fact, everything else on this list came in after Generation 5, most after Generation 6 actually. Everything above it is from Generation 6. So up until Generation 5, this was the most powerful explosion user, which is kind of crazy. Choice Band Lickilicky is actually kind of fun to use because of its weird coverage moves, things like Aqua Tail, Power Whip and Knockoff, which all are really helpful. But Explosion is the icing on the cake, and that is going to take down some massive threats, which is really cool. Again, just for comparison's sake, I mean, I've got nothing against Caterpie, but you can take out a whopping 193 Caterpie in one blow with this Lickilicky. So that is a lot, and that's actually a considerable step up from Landorus. It really puts Landorus to shame. Lickilicky is obviously the far more powerful of the two, but still, I think it bears repeating that Lickilicky is a really good explosion user if you're looking for one. The next Pokemon on this countdown is actually the only Mega Pokemon that makes the list, and that is Mega Glalie. the only Pokemon on this list that doesn't hold the Choice Band, which is definitely an accolade to have. This is the only Pokemon that can use Explosion and still switch up moves and have an insanely powerful Explosion. Mega Glalie, when it Mega Evolves, it does get that Refrigerate ability. What it does is it turns normal type attacks into Ice type attacks, allowing Mega Glalie to get Stab on those attacks. It also gives them a 1.2 times damage boost, which is really nice and makes them pack just that extra punch, which is so good. And obviously, when Mega Evolving, Glalie gets a really nice attack stat of 120. So this Pokemon is really, really powerful, and you can switch up moves. If your opponent's trying to switch in something on your attacks, then you can just switch up and you know, go for the Explosion if you want. What's great about Mega Glalie's Explosion is nothing is immune to it, because obviously normally Ghost types can take Explosions, but nothing resists Ice. So this is one of the safest Explosions you can go for. You only have to worry about Protect or something like that. Otherwise, you're going to bop something, and even Resists can get taken out by Mega Glalie's Explosion because it's just so strong. So again, putting this in context, the poor little Caterpies that have strayed a little bit too close are going to get decimated. In fact, 195 Caterpies drop to 1 Explosion from Mega Glalie. That is only just pipping Lickilicky to 3rd place, but it does it in style. As I say, this is probably one of the best competitive, just offensive users of Explosion, using it for the damage rather than anything else. Glalie can also set up spikes, so if you do want to prevent a Rapid Spin or a Defog, Explosion is there. But really, you're using Explosion on Glalie for the damage. You can take out so many things. The second Pokemon on this list is going to be Silvally, and that is Silvally normal. If it holds any of its memories, it's going to have a super weak Explosion, but when it's normal type, it does obviously get that Stab again, which is the reason why Lickilicky was so strong. This thing has 10 extra base attack, so obviously it's going to be that bit stronger, and it can hold the Choice Band as well. What's also neat about Silvally, it does get access to things like Swords Dance, so you can always have a Swords Dance set. What I think is quite cool is if you run the Normalium Z Swords Dance with Explosion, you can go for Swords Dance, have your Z move, and then still have your Explosion, and it's super, super strong. But if you want the most powerful Explosion that Silvally can go for, that has to be the Choice Band set. So Silvally probably doesn't actually see that much use, and it might be a surprise to some people to see it on this list, but I really like the fact it's the most powerful normal type Explosion in the game. Well deserved and really cool. So try out normal type Silvally. It's a pretty cool Pokemon. You can run other cool stuff on it too, like Darkinium Z, Parting Shot, whatever. It's a really cool Pokemon. Again, to put it in context, we're going to squish a few more bugs, and 207 Caterpie are going to be the victims to Silvally, which is a nice step up from Mega Glalie. This Pokemon is very, very strong, so you have to watch out. You have to respect it, guys. You have to. So now we've got down to number 1, the most powerful Explosion in the game, one of the most powerful moves in the entire game. This thing is a nuke, and that is going to be Alolan Golem's Explosion. Alolan Golem is rock electric type, and with its Galvanize ability, that's where all this power comes from. It's very comparable to Mega Glalie because you have Galvanize turning Explosion into an electric type attack this time instead of ice, and also giving it that 1.2 times power boost, which is extremely strong already. So you're getting Stab electric type Explosion here. You also have the same attack stat as Mega Glalie in 120 base attack. So just with that, you're doing the same damage as Mega Glalie, but the difference is that Alolan Golem can hold a Choice Band. So this is like Choice Banded Mega Glalie. This thing outstrips all of the other Pokemon in this list by quite a margin. This thing is so strong. The only thing you have to worry about is the opponent switching in their ground type, because obviously they'll be completely immune, but that's the same for the normal type users with ghost types. Only Mega Glalie has that Explosion for which no Pokemon is immune. But this Pokemon, Alolan Golem, just unbelievably powerful. Choice Band Alolan Golem isn't even unheard of because you have things like the Magnet Pool set, so that thing can be Choice Banded or Choice Scarf, whatever you want to use, but it's definitely an offensive Pokemon. The Galvanized Explosion set is ridiculous. This Pokemon also gets Stealth Rock, so if you want to, you can run like a Focus Sash Galvanized Explosion set to set up rocks and then explode. Choice Banded Explosion though, unparalleled. One of the most powerful moves in the game, probably the most powerful move without any kind of setup. I think that's true. So it definitely is a world-shaking event when this thing actually pulls off the explosion. Again, let's put this in context. So far, the highest number of Caterpies killed by an explosion is 207 with Silvally. Well, Alolan Golem gets 292, almost 300 Caterpie. That's almost an extra 100 Caterpie just from this guy's explosion. It's absolutely insane. Such a powerhouse. And you gotta love it. You gotta love to see it because Golem is like a stalwart. From Generation 1, it's come all this way to Generation 7 when it gets its Alolan form. That Galvanize ability, such a great ability. And it now has one of the most powerful moves in the game. That is so cool. So there you have it. You guys have been edified about the explosion. I hope it blew your minds. That's going to be all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like because it really helps promote my channel and it also lets me know what you guys want to see more of. If you do want to see more of my videos, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel and dinging the bell. My videos aren't uploaded super regularly, so if you don't want to miss one, definitely ding the bell because it'll let you know when my next upload is up. And also I've got a Twitter account, so if you want to follow me there, I'm kind of a bit more responsive on Twitter, so if you've got any questions or want to give feedback or just have comments or whatever, or just want to talk about Pokemon, that's fine. Follow me on Twitter and we can talk about it there. But that's going to be all for today. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Foo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.